James. This is a dev vlog, I guess, or something along those lines. Databases using Mongo. No, I really hate Mongo. I really hate MongoDB so much. So, I decided to do some research, and I pretty much fried my brain, like looking into this all day long, and just like exploring ideas and like business ventures and just like going into databases and like managing computers and all of that stuff. So I went down a real rabbit hole today in terms of that sort of thing. But it came up with this being the best option, and that is Superbase. I Yeah, and that's what ChatGPT gave me. They gave me a bunch of options, and I saw the list of things, and then I remember back, huh? I watched a video some time ago, and it said something about Superbase, and it was like, oh yeah, that would be the best option to use, and like a app setup, and I'm like, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. And now I think I'm gonna use it because I feel like it is the best. Um, for this scenario, it probably is the best because I can use either NoSQL or SQL, but I'm thinking I'm going to be using SQL because, like, I mean, NoSQL is great. Document like model document stuff is good. Like Firebase is good and stuff, but like it's not that. I mean, it's scalable, but not really scalable in the right kind of way. Depends how you look at it. Like, there's a point of being scalable and then there's a point of being usable and like manipulatable. SQL is more manipulatable, so I'd rather use that in this instance for what I'm doing because I'm trying to make like a simple like tool that someone can use to like manage a system because it's like what I designed and something like this. I'll quickly show you guys this. So it's what it's going to look like. What in theory is what it's supposed to look like according to the design. We did this as a group project with some other people, and like this is what we came up with basically. So it's kind of look a little bit like that. Now, if we this is the theory thing. So this is based on the idea of another organization, but we're not in this instance. When I'm not building it for this use case, I'm going to be building it for something completely different. Um, it is more just going to be used as like a manager's tool, rather than like a system thing. But the layout is similar to this in the way it's going to have the blue in the top and the filters and the search button and stuff like that. I've nearly got the filters done, but I've gotten most of the like front end stuff all there already, which is good. It's just like actually getting the buttons programmed, stuff like that, and then getting the database stuff set up so that the back end of it works properly to make it so that everything inside the each of the elements, like the element of the workplace, is like, well, each project, as you'd say, or whatever project it would be, like work environment projects, so etc., that have workers assigned to it on HR, that it's dynamic and can be like customized by the user to suit the purpose that it needs to have. Um, yeah, and it's that, and pretty much as soon as if you're adding a project or like something like that to the list of it, it's simply just gonna be like you add a title and then it's just gonna add the project. You go da 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 da, and you press add project, and then it adds the project to the database system, and then it gets scaled for that thing. So that's what the thing will well that's what it will look like in terms of like the back end, and that's kind of like my thought process of what I'm going through to like work this whole system out. And yeah, um I'll let you guys know, but that's just what I figured out from today. And then what I've done in the previous day is I've been looking at this. Now this is basically what I've come up with so far. I'm using Next to Next, so I'm basically just coding it in JavaScript and using JavaScript to HTML like raw stuff, but I'm using Next to like deploy it and test it on locally, and also just using Node to like load it as well. So I'm using Node with Next and gonna be using other things like that. But yeah, that's this. This is what it currently looks like. So it's gonna be like this. This is your things, your design, review, development, testing, and these buttons aren't clickable yet, but we'll get them clickable. And then here's the milestone progress. It's gonna have to have some more bars in there and stuff. I'm gonna have to improve it a bit more and add some filters like that, and then create new project names to go. But we call this hello, something like that. And then it should create a project, and instead of being like that, it should be like a post request, which is what I'll probably be using to direct things using Ajax. And then I'm just going to use DOMs to manipulate it and add in new things so that you don't reload the page. So this will be just like this, and it will have a DOM. When I press add new project, it will start up and create a new DOM that will just carry on and just add to the page. The reason for not choosing to use React is simply because I don't want this to be limited to like PCs. I want this to be usable on all systems and all operate everything works better when you're using a more raw system. Plus, workplaces, they do use the new stuff, the frameworks, but there's value in knowing the old ways of doing things, because the old ways of doing things are still used a lot and they're used like 90% of the time. The new stuff is kind of like what everyone's trying to augment to. So it's also good to understand how to make things in the old way so that the new way gets done better. If that makes sense. Plus, I also find it simpler working in the older way, and it's less of a headache for me. But anyway, thank you.